Senator Warner and I today have filed a bill to the transportation bill, part of this debate that deals with transportation. The Bridge Act really helps us, creates new ways to help us funding our infrastructure. Last year, Congress was finally able to come together with a highway bill, the FAST Act. It took a while to get to the FAST Act, Mr. President, because we had 37 short-term extensions of the highway bill from 2009 on, but finally we have a highway bill, a 5-year bill that provides certainty for the next 5 years. But this is a chance where at every level of government now we can put extra tools in the toolbox. We can involve the private sector in ways that the private sector is not involved as a funding partner for many things that the private sector can do in partnership with the public sector. Strengthening our overall infrastructure, especially our transportation network, is vital to boosting economic growth, to creating jobs, and to increasing competitiveness in Missouri, in Senator Warner's state of Virginia, and across the nation. The current infrastructure fails to meet our current needs, including needs in drinking water, highways and ports, energy transmission. In addition to all the things we see above ground, there are many things below ground that need to be dealt with. The stormwater system in the city of St. Louis, part of that system was built while Abraham Lincoln was president. It's amazing how long wood will last if you keep it soaked in water for 152 years or so. But that's what a part of that system is all about. We're way short in infrastructure investments. Senator Warner and I, for 3 Congresses now, have been trying to find the best way to add more ability to do the things that need to be done. We have a transportation system that's interconnected. It has an extensive network of highways, of roads, of bridges, of freight and passenger rail travel, rural rail transit, airports, waterways. All of those things, pipelines, make us more competitive than we'd be otherwise. And more competitive means better jobs. It means people living paycheck to paycheck have an opportunity to have paycheck to paycheck plus savings, have an opportunity to have paycheck to paycheck plus retirement, have an opportunity to see those things happen that needs to happen in their lives and for their family. The transportation system links our country up. It links urban America and rural America. It serves as a backbone for interstate commerce and connects the United States to the rest of the world. Our economic competitiveness and our ability to export in the most competitive way is very dependent on our infrastructure. The American energy revolution is directly related to the ability to access unconventional oil and gas. We have more new American energy than we ever dreamed possible, but we can access that energy, but we don't have the ways to transport that energy that we need to have to use it most efficiently. The greater Mississippi River Basin, the biggest contiguous piece of agricultural land in the world, is where the riverways of the country come together. These riverways allow us, again, to be more competitive. They allow farmers to easily ship their products to domestic and foreign markets. A modern transportation system will be key to maintaining competitiveness with other grain producers elsewhere in the world. And Brazil's a great example of a country whose ability to grow agricultural products has far outgrown its infrastructure. And the ability to compete, the ability to get things to market, the ability to get things all over the world is dramatically impacted by that. The American Society of Civil Engineers continues to give the United States poor marks on our infrastructure and says we need billions of dollars in investment over the next several years to bring it up to adequate conditions. The Bridge Act is a way not for federal taxpayers to become responsible for every local obligation, but for states and communities, along with the federal government, to have new ways to do the things that need to be done. We can't continue to ignore the infrastructure needs of the country. We particularly can't continue to ignore the infrastructure needs of the country we can't see. You just saw the appropriate attention in Flint, Michigan, to a problem that didn't meet the eye because it's underground. The gas lines, the water lines, the storm sewer lines all need attention. The capital markets and private sector investors have a growing interest in being part of meeting that great infrastructure need. The Bridge Act will incentivize private sector investment by establishing an independent infrastructure financing authority to provide loans and loan guarantees to critical infrastructure projects, including transportation, water, energy infrastructure. It's a proposal like the ones we need to help create, to close the gap that needs to be closed. During this week, a week that I'm not sure how well the planning worked here, but we have the transportation bill on the floor during Infrastructure Week. I think we ought to be giving serious consideration not just to the infrastructure that we appropriate money for, but the process we put in place, the tools we put in place so that the infrastructure needs of the country can be met. I'm certainly pleased to get to work with Senator Warner on this project. We've had lots of input from people who understand the infrastructure needs of the country, and I hope the Congress looks at this as one of the things that can be done to help meet those needs.